Jego wizyta, nasza trzecia już rozmowa w krótkim czasie, świadczy o doskonałych stosunkach polsko-brytyjskich. Jesteśmy złączeni wielopłaszczyznowym partnerstwem strategicznym, a Wielka Brytania jest jednym z najważniejszych sojuszników Polski w Europie i na świecie. Mamy zbliżone, a w wielu sprawach tożsame stanowiska w najważniejszych obszarach polityki bezpieczeństwa i polityki wschodniej. Wspólnie opowiadamy się za utrzymywaniem silnych relacji transatlantyckich oraz wzmacniania odstraszania i obrony Sojuszu Północnoatlantyckiego. Ściśle współpracujemy w zwalczaniu terroryzmu, przestępczości zorganizowanej i dezinformacji. Współdziałamy na forach międzynarodowych na rzecz promocji demokracji, poszerzania sfery bezpieczeństwa. Bliska współpraca z Wielką Brytanią jest kluczowa z punktu widzenia naszych interesów politycznych, gospodarczych, obronnych, a także dużej społeczności polskiej w Zjednoczonym Królestwie. Najważniejszym tematem naszej dzisiejszej rozmowy była sprawa najpilniejsza, czyli zachowanie pokoju w Europie i na świecie, czyli trwająca od 2 lat agresja Rosji przeciwko Ukrainie i wynikające z niej zagrożenie dla porządku bezpieczeństwa w Europie. Pana ministra Camerona nie trzeba przekonywać do tego, że agresywna polityka Putina stanowi zagrożenie nie tylko dla państwowości Ukrainy, ale bezpieczeństwa całego kontynentu. Powstrzymanie rosyjskiego imperializmu stanowi podstawowy warunek dla zachowania wolności i systemu wartości cywilizowanego świata. Wielka Brytania, podobnie jak Polska, od samego początku niezachwianie wspiera Ukrainę w jej walce o prawo do samostanowienia. Rozmawialiśmy o konkretnych działaniach, które chcemy podjąć w najbliższych tygodniach, które umocnią potencjał obronny Ukrainy. Przedstawiłem też postulaty, jakie podnoszę na forum Unii Europejskiej na rzecz zwiększenia zdolności produkcyjnych przemysłu zbrojeniowego państw członkowskich. Wymieniliśmy się też doświadczeniami narodowymi w dziedzinie egzekwowania sankcji, jakie i nasze państwa, i Unia Europejska nałożyły na Rosję. Bardzo się cieszę z tej wizyty. Będziemy kontynuować nasze działania już od jutra na Monachijskiej Konferencji Bezpieczeństwa. Jeszcze raz dziękuję panu ministrowi za wizytę, a za jego pośrednictwem chciałbym przekazać życzenia pełnego powrotu do zdrowia jego królewskiej mości, królowi Karolowi III.
Well, thank you very much, Radek. It's great to be with you again. As you say, we've had several conversations since you've got your new job and I've got my new job. It's great to be back in Poland. I had made several visits to this country as Prime Minister, and I'm very proud to be back here as Foreign Secretary. And it's good to see that the British-Polish relationship is in such a strong position diplomatically, economically, in terms of our cooperation on so many levels. And let me, as you did, pay tribute to the over 700,000 Polish people who live in the United Kingdom and make such an incredible contribution to our country. In fact, one of the ways they've contributed so well, and I've seen this firsthand, is the over 300,000 Ukrainians we've welcomed into the UK. The Polish community's played an absolutely key role in helping them to access services and to find homes and to find work and to find a solid future in the United Kingdom. So we pay tribute to them. We're partners in so many ways. We are very strong NATO partners. Indeed, there are 400 British troops serving here in Poland. We want to see a stronger NATO, as you do. You're making huge commitments on defence spending, which we applaud, and both of us are delighted to see Finland join NATO. We want to see Sweden join NATO. We urge our Hungarian counterpart to make that happen as soon as possible. I think the strengthening of NATO in this difficult and dangerous and uncertain world is one of the best things that we can do, not just for European security, but for global security. We're very strong economic partners. Our trade has reached over £30 billion. That is at record levels, and we want to continue to make that expand. As you said, Radek, we're also partners in fighting organised crime and in fighting illegal migration. We both face challenges in this regard, And I think it is important to look at new ways that we can combat illegal migration and demonstrate to our countries and to our publics that we have this under control and that migration is working in our own nation's benefit and that people can't jump queues and migrate illegally. Of course, most important, what we discussed today is our partnership in supporting Ukraine. I see this as the challenge of our generation. Two foreign ministers standing here today, it's like two foreign ministers standing here in the 1930s, where we faced a similar challenge from a similar aggressive dictator who was trying to change Europe's boundaries by force, who was ignoring the sovereignty and inviolability of other countries' borders. That's what we face today with Putin. And the challenge is, do we have the political will to match it? It's perfectly obvious that we've got the military power. It's perfectly obvious we've got the economic power, that we have the diplomatic power, that collectively our economies outmatch Russia by 25-1. The question for us is whether we have the political will. I know that Poland does, I know that Britain does, and we'll do everything we can to persuade all our allies to commit to helping Ukraine in all the ways that we are doing. Because we know our history. The last time we allowed a dictator in Europe to aggressively invade other countries without there being proper consequences, it was Poland that suffered the most. Indeed, Poland wasn't fully liberated for a further 50 years after that took place. And I think we should all bear that in mind when we look at the dangers of what Putin is doing in Ukraine and the need to get behind that country. So we've had great discussions on how we ramp up defense production, how we keep the flow of arms to Ukraine, how we keep that diplomatic support, that economic support, that moral support. We've signed our security partnership with Ukraine. I know that Poland is going to be doing that shortly. We urge every country to do that. And above all, because of their strength and power in the world, we applaud what the EU's already done for Ukraine, but because of their strength and power in the world, we really do want to see Congress pass that money to support Ukraine economically, but crucially militarily in the months ahead. We saw yet again yesterday in the Black Sea the huge success that Ukraine is having against Putin's Russia. They have now sunk 20%, over 20%, of Russia's Black Sea fleet. And as a result, Ukraine is exporting grain again, the Ukrainian economy is growing again, the Black Sea is open again. So when people talk about stalemate, there's no stalemate on the Black Sea. And we have to do everything we can to make sure that Ukraine can succeed in this year and beyond, that we must not let Putin think he can outweight us or last us out. And that's why this vote in Congress is so crucial. And I say this as someone who is not wanting in any way to lecture American friends or tell American friends what to do. I say it as someone who has a deep and abiding love of the United States, of their democracy, of their belief in freedom, but as someone who really believes in the importance of our alliance. To me, it's very personal. I remember the stories my grandfather told of fighting after D-Day under the support of American warships. I think of what I did with the American president to clear ISIL out of Iraq and Syria. When Britain and Europe and America, when we stand together, when we fight together, when we stand up for freedom, when we stand against aggression, when we stand with our partners, we can't be defeated. That's what's necessary this time. And it's not just a European issue. There will be other people watching what the Americans do. They will be watching in China. They will be watching in Iran. And every country around the world will be watching to say, are we, these Western countries, are we reliable allies? When we say we're going to back you, when we say you're right to resist aggression, when we say you're right to defend your country, when we say you're right to defend your borders, are we with you, not just today and tomorrow and for months, but are we with you until your aggressor has lost? That's the question for us. That is what Radek and I believe, and that is what we hope the Americans will vote for in Congress. Thank you.
Chciałbym uzupełnić. Chciałbym, aby Państwo to potraktowali jako nasz wspólny apel do Izby Reprezentantów Stanów Zjednoczonych i osobiście do pana marszałka Mike'a Johnsona, aby poddał pod głosowanie pakiet pomocy dla Ukrainy. To jest, tak jak powiedział David, epokowa decyzja, która wpłynie na wiarygodność amerykańską na całym globie u swoich sojuszników. Więc apelujemy, aby ten pakiet pomocy został przegłosowany.
Dziękuję bardzo. Do zobaczenia, do widzenia. Miłej podróży.
Thanks.
Także wspólny apel do